Hi everyone, this is Demetrio. Welcome to my channel. Tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a consultant, been an entrepreneur for over 27 years, and today I want to talk to you about, are you wired to be a successful consultant? But before I start, I like to just put a little disclaimer here. The things I'm about to talk about are my personal experiences and the skill sets that I think have evolved in me, and I just wanted to share them with everyone. I certainly don't claim to say that these are the only skill sets you need, or to discourage anybody that is thinking of being a consultant if they don't have any strengths in these areas. But what I wanted to stress is that these skill sets can be developed, but they take time. And that, you should really consider this when you're getting into, starting a business. So having said that, let's get into the first one. When I talk about skill sets, I'm talking about things that you need to develop. It's like wearing many hats. So the first hat I think you need to wear as a successful consultant is, how are you with administration of a business? Do you know anything about bookkeeping or financial planning? Do you have a good working knowledge of that? Because that's something you're going to need if you're going to run a business. It's very important to make sure that you keep your books up to date, that you understand the collection data process of collecting information. Because when it comes time to do your books and you give your books to an accountant, when you do your year ends, depending where you are, what countries in terms of their regulations, but here in Canada, definitely you have to make sure that you have good collection of data so that when you give the books to your accountant, he or she can do your books successfully. When you're making money, also financial planning. What are you going to do with the money from the business? What kind of things you're going to look at if you want to, like I said, invest some of the business assets? Because remember, if you're the principal owner, you are responsible. So you need to make sure you have a good working knowledge of that. Once you have that kind of figured out, and again, these are skill sets that you can acquire. The second hat I think you need to know, you need to be good at, is how good are you as a listener? How good are you at problem solving? Because remember, when clients hire you, they're hiring you because you can hopefully solve their problem. So one of the things that I think you have to really work on is your listening skills. As I mentioned in previous videos, there's the reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Really listen to your clients, listen to what they're saying. Define the scope of work, because when you define the scope of work, it really clearly illustrates to them that you were listening to what they're saying. And then of course, working through that, problem solving, giving the deliverables. Like I always mentioned in a previous video, I talk about under promising, over deliver, so that the clients are pleasantly pleased. But all of that requires time. It requires a lot of practice working on your listening skills to be clearly defined what is the problem that the client has and how to solve it, and showing them that you are listening and you can work on that. The last thing I think you really need to do in terms of wearing a hat and getting really good at is, of course, being a good leader. Having said that, being a good leader and be able to lead are two different things. People think of it the same thing. They're not. You can have a title that says CEO, President, Principal Consultant. That's all fine and dandy. But that doesn't mean anything in terms of leadership, to being able to lead. Being able to lead, you have to kind of work at that. People gotta believe in you. Now here's the thing I want to share when it comes to that. When you define your why as to why you do what you do, people, remember, are going to buy you and why you do it, not necessarily what you do and how you do it, but why that you do what you do. And actually, I learned that from another gentleman his name is Simon Semick, excuse me, not Dave Semick. But the point being is that he's one of the gurus in terms of how people define themselves as to why they do what they do when it comes to business. Once I think you figure out the why, like he mentions in a lot of his literature, then I think it becomes quite easier for people to lead, because when they believe in you and they believe in what you stand for and they believe in what you can deliver, it's going to be a lot easier. So again, those 3 hats, there's other hats, obviously, other skill sets you need to know. But having said that, I think if you start with those, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape. If you like what you saw, you like the content, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I always add content. If you have any comments, please share them in the comment section, because I review all of them. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye.